Beloved one, now we will speak about how to look through the veil of separation, how to move from this dimension which seems so very real into the reality, capital R. Beyond the veil of appearances. You want to know, who am I? Why am I? Where am I? What is this all about? The same as the small child has to ask questions and to experience. You are having the question marks of how life can be, and you are wondering, is there more to life than just what I am experiencing? And you know that the answer is, yes, there is much more. So I say to you, the first step in dissolving the veil is to know, to believe, to accept that there is more. Now, there are many of the brothers and sisters who will say to you, this is all there is. You're born, you grow up, you live a certain number of years, and then, if you are lucky, you may decease the body in the bed peacefully. If not, you may have what is called an accident or something that happens to you. In truth, nothing ever happens to you that you have not already invited to be in your experience. But as you will acknowledge that perhaps there is something much more to life than just what you see in front of you with the physical eyes, you have already made the first step to acknowledging that the veil, as I have called it, is there and that it is truly growing thinner every time you have what is called the awakening experience. Step number 2. Step 1 was to acknowledge that there is more. Step 2 is to spend time in meditation, to spend time outside of the realm of appearances, to go within. I have suggested to you that you spend at least 15 minutes in meditation every day. And hopefully, as I have said many times, when you spend 15 minutes, it will feel so good that you will want more, and you will spend a half hour. Now, I know that you have a busy schedule, and you may have an employer who expects you to put in at least 8 hours every day and probably more, but I would say that truly the one who is employing you, in other words, the higher self of you, would suggest that you put in at least 15 minutes, half an hour, perhaps even extend it to an hour if you can, after a while, not at first. It is like all of the exercises that you do. You start out with the short exercise time, and then you build up the time that you can keep doing the exercise. So it is the same thing with meditation, because when one sits quietly and goes within, it feels very strange from what you have been brought up to experience. Sometimes you get a bit antsy and you want to be up and doing, because that is what you have always experienced. So to go within to the quiet space, the mind will say to you that you are wasting time. You should be up doing something. But that is the way of the world, and that is the language of the world. So you say to that voice, okay, later. And then you sit there for a while and you listen. That is all you have to do. It is simplicity itself, to sit in a comfortable position. Do not make it so that you are uncomfortable and you want to get out of that position. I know that there are certain positions that are supposedly more holy than others, but I say to you that if it is not comfortable, the body is going to start screaming at you, and then you have to pay attention to the body. Therefore, find a comfortable position where you can be quiet and you can go within and listen. At first, probably, you will not have any great revelations. It is likely that you will say, well, I don't know if that was worth anything. Nothing really came to me, except I thought about my cousin Harold and I thought about my great aunt and I thought about my friend who is going through a certain adventure or challenge. Many ideas and thoughts, visions, run through the mind at first. That is okay. Do not try to stop those ideas and those thoughts, because when you do, you will be focusing on trying to stop all of the ideas, and the mind will get very, very busy. So allow all the thoughts to run through. Do not spend overtime with them, but allow them to run through. Allow the mind to exhaust itself, and then you will reach the quiet place. The first few times, maybe even more than a few, when you try to do this, you will have a lot of different ideas and thoughts that want your attention. So do not get short with yourself. In other words, allow. And as you will practice this, as you will know that this is truly a gift that you give to yourself, a gift of quiet time, even if you do not have any great revelations at first, at least you have allowed the body to rest, and there is a lot of benefit in that. Later on you may find that you will hear a voice or you will know an idea. There will be something that comes to you that was not programmed according to the activity of the mind. It will be something that just suggests itself to you. Listen. Do not try to analyze, just listen, or just see, because you may be visual, and you may have visual experiences. If you are auditory, you may hear something. But most of all, be mindful. When something comes to the mind, you can take note of it, and then you can let it pass. If it is important, it will come back to you. If it is not important and it is just passing, it will pass on through. As you allow yourself to be in the space of receptivity, there is much that can come to you and will come to you after a while. At first, it is like with anything new, it will feel strange. It will feel like, why am I spending time doing this when I could be up doing something else? But as you allow yourself to go deeper within the quietness and the quiet voice, there are revelations of new worlds that come to you. At first, new worlds, and then later on there will be the empty space. The space of just healing, the space of just knowing, the space that does not have to get filled with thoughts. You will abide there for some time, and it will feel very good. When you have achieved the feeling of no thought, no questions, just being empty and feeling comfortable, you are moving through the veil that you have set up for yourself, the veil that says, this is all there is, just the appearances, just all of the activities that my friends and I are going through. You have set an experience for yourself which is more important. You have experienced the place that is beyond the knowing of this lowercase r reality. When you are in the space of what seems to be emptiness, and yet is as outer space, which you call deep space between all of the universes and solar systems, you are going into what feels to be unknown territory, and yet it is a state that you know well. It is a space of love, a space where you find yourself accepted in love. You may bring into that space an idea of someone else, but in truth, it is love of self, the holy self that you are, and you will feel an overwhelming sense of happiness, of joy, of okayness. Now, as I have said, do not be short with yourself. If it does not come within the first day, week, month, do not say, oh, well, I tried it, and it didn't work. That is often what I see with ones. It takes a certain bit of discipline, a certain space of saying, yes, this is worthwhile. I will persevere with it. I will share with you that it is worthwhile. It was something that I knew when I was a small one, and yet it was something that I had to renew in my experience. I was very fortunate in that I had parents, friends, and teachers who knew the value of very quiet, deep meditation. They said to me, even when I was at a young, active age, that it is okay just to be quiet. Now, young ones do not really like to be quiet. They like to have attention right away, and they like to experiment with the voice. So, as I have said, do not be short with self. Do not be impatient. Know that truly it is a prize worth gaining. I know that you are not taught this in your world. Your world says that you must do, you must achieve, you must be active. But, in truth, I say to you that the important thing that you will take with you after you have released the body is a knowing of the love that you are held in all of the time. For truly, when you go to your own light as you release the body, you go to love, and love is waiting all the time for your acceptance. Love is waiting in that meditative state and wants to gift you with the feeling of acceptance, the feeling of worthiness that the world does not know. In that space you will find your true self. After you have been in that space for some time, and it may take a while or it may not, so I will not say to you that it takes 1 month or 1 year. It takes doing, practice, abiding in the quiet space. And then after a while you will find your true self that goes beyond any appearance, any description. We can use words to describe the space of love, but the experience of love is something else, is it not? When you get into that space and you just love everyone, you have found your true self, a self that the world does not appreciate, does not value. You do not get a reward from the world for living in love. Just the opposite is true, as you see your world in this day. But I say to you, have hope, because as you are finding love within yourself, and as you experience love of higher self, you are putting out that vibration even into the world that does not understand and does not value love, and you are changing the world itself. There is coming a time when you will remember, and the brothers and sisters will remember, how it feels to live in love, not to have to achieve, not to have to be competitive and step upon other ones as you climb the ladder of life, but just to abide in the space where everyone is okay. Everyone is loved with an everlasting love that has been from before time began, and that love will abide even after the purpose of time has been fulfilled. Time does have a purpose, and it will not always be. There will come a time, outside of time, when you will no longer need the concept of time and the constraints that time puts upon you, when you will just be the divine self that you are, in love, accepted for who and what you are, the divine self, not the identity that the world gives to you, for that is passing and fleeting and usually full of judgment, but the self of you that abides forever and abides in love forever. That is who you are, and that is what you will come to realize, to make real in your awareness, as you do the practice of meditation. When you get into the space that I have just described, the space of love, where you love yourself, you love everyone, you do not even have to have an object of love. It is just a sea of love. You abide there for some time, because it feels so good. Then you begin to realize that outside of the dictates of the world, there is a whole other realm that only knows love, and you move into the space of being able to experience, to call forth other ones who have moved into that realm, perhaps by releasing the body so that they do not have to drag the body around, do not have to clothe it, feed it, and be attentive to all of its needs. They find themselves to be in a space of great love. That is why you have heard stories of ones who have had the near-death experience where they did not want to come back to the human lifetime, because love felt so good, and yet they knew that there was something remaining in the world, in the experience of humanness, that they either wanted or felt that they had to fulfill. In this space of great love, you can commune with anyone that you want to communicate with, loved ones who have gone on, as it is called, and yet they go nowhere away from you or apart from you. They are in a great space of love as they open themselves to it. There you will find masters from other times, ones of whom you have said, if only I could have a short visit with them, someone you have admired, a teacher perhaps. You can do this in the time of meditation even while you are allowing the body to function. When you are in the space of very deep meditation, the body knows how to take care of itself. The heart will keep beating. All of the organs will do exactly what they are supposed to do. The blood will keep circulating. The digestive system will keep on digesting. And then when you come back to the awareness of the body and have to do something with it, it will be waiting for you, although as a footnote to that, there are great masters who have gone into very deep meditation and have decided that they did not want to reactivate the body, so they did not need to. But that is the exception, and that is not what is going to happen for you. So you do not have to feel that if you get very deeply into meditation and forget your reality, that then everything is going to dissolve. That will not happen for you. You will always keep a small dot, what you call the silver cord, the attachment to the body until you are finished with the body. The body is always voluntarily given up. It is never taken from you, although there may be great persuasion given to you as in ones who are in the activities of warfare. You have stories of ones on the battlefield who will not give up the body, because they are choosing not to do so, although the brother next to them may lay down the body, and the brother on the other side may lay down the body. It is always a choice. It has been said to you, and it is a great truth, that when ones release the body, they take unto themselves the appearance of how they were in their prime, not how they were in the last few weeks before they released the body, which may have been most tragic looking, but they appear as when they were in their prime. If you only knew them the last few weeks before they released the body, then at first they will show you that appearance. Often they remember when they have been quite joyful, quite alive, because they are, the same as you are, and they will be in the prime of life, the spirit life, not fearing. You see, one of the things that wears down the body, and also the person, is fear, worry, thinking that you have to do whatever the employer has said to you, whatever the fears have said you have to be, whatever the parents have said to you in your growing up time, and that you had to be a certain way, stand up straight, put the head up, never look down, never look back, etc., all of the things that are good for you. But in truth, sometimes all of the disciplines of growing up can be a bit wearing on the spirit. That is why I remind you from time to time to become as the little child, the small one who is excited about life, who is very much out there in life. Life is all there is, and they want to know more about it. You want to know more about the ongoingness of life. You want to know, how do I work with the body? How do I make it become the way I want it to be? In truth, you are always functioning in the body as you see it to be possible. This is not said as a judgment. If you have a condition that you are working with, it is not said as a judgment. It is said as a truth. Your body responds to what you tell it. As you are happy and you love your body, it will love you. You are the one, the creative force that is activating the body. You are in charge. Now, I know the bodies sometimes speak back to you and say, well, that's a big laugh. Do you think you are in charge? I'll show you, and then you get a pain in the ankle or a pain in the midsection, or, woe is me, a pain in the head. And you respond. You respond out of habit. So I am saying to you, when you are in the space of great love, you will love your creation, you will love your body, and it will feel different for you. It does not happen all at once, usually. And as I have said, I was very fortunate, and you have been very fortunate in other lifetimes where you have grown up in a spiritual community that accepted you as the small one, knowing that you are the divine energy which activates your creation, the body. When you allow yourself to come very deeply into a meditative experience and you feel yourself to be all love, nothing but love, nothing that has to be analyzed, nothing that has to be described, does not have words attached to it, you have then for yourself the opportunity to speak with anyone anywhere anytime of any of the ages of Holy Mother Earth and the planetary beings that you have been in other incarnations or non-incarnations, to go back and re-evaluate yourself in the other lifetimes, to regroup, as it would be, all of the other lifetimes, incarnations and non-incarnations of experiences, and you will find yourself to be very wealthy. You may connect with what has been termed in this time the ETs. You will find that, oh, my goodness, I had experience as an ET, but I didn't know I was an ET. I was just a being. I was a consciousness. But others, perhaps, would describe me as an ET, because at that point I was not living on Holy Mother Earth. Truly you have been the small protozoa. You have been the fish that swam in the sea. You have been the four-footed ones. You have been the most agile monkeys that swing through the trees. Sometimes there is a feeling within you that you would like to do that again. Oh, that I could be alive and free and swing through the trees from limb to limb to limb. Well, you are reliving at that point an experience that you have already had, otherwise, how would that concept, idea, feeling find a place within your consciousness? It is because you have done it. You have already been it. Humans have set themselves up to be on top of the pyramid and to say that they are the top of the evolutionary tree. Well, I will share with you, if you will receive it, that in what you see to be a few hundred years from now, maybe even just a couple hundred years, maybe in just 100 years, there will be seen an evolution where the human form is going to be different than what it is now, and the human receptor, otherwise known as the brain, is going to be able to be far more receptive and telepathic than what you know now. You are moving into that. So in 100 years you may look back perhaps at this history and you may say, oh, well, I'm glad I didn't live then. Things were so crude, relatively. So I say unto you, do not judge. There is no place for judgment. There is only place for love. Abide always in love. Practice meditation. Connect once again with the allness of you, and the veil will be no more. So be it.